This is the story about how I manifested £35,000, I'm in the UK, of debt cleared, written off. Welcome to your dream life era. I'm Julia, and on this channel, we talk about manifestation, law of attraction, femininity, and business tips to help you step into your dream life era. My friend, I can tell you the truth. I was really reluctant and excited to share this video. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I couldn't gatekeep it because that wouldn't be right. I have the gift, I have the knowledge, and right now, so many of us have bills, money, debt that we want to get rid of. And so when I received notification that this amount was clear, because I'd followed some very specific manifestation steps, I knew that the time had come to share it with you. So if you are manifesting either to clear a debt, this is the video for you. Now, the first thing I want to do is say that I fully and completely owned that I owed the money. And that was actually my first step to manifesting it being cleared and gone. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest with where we are, especially with our finances, when we want to manifest more. And we have to be honest with the debt and look at it and know the numbers and be super clear and own that we owe this money. And that was the first thing that I did. I was like, you know what? I messed up and I owe this money. And so once I got clear on that, then I worked on the guilt and the shame, because somehow or the other, we beat ourselves up whenever we owe a large amount of money, especially if we just did something stupid. And for me, I know that I had messed up. I got some advice that wasn't the right advice, and that meant that I owed this money. And then I felt really guilty because I figured I was smarter than that. I'm a clever woman and I should have been able to figure it out. So the next thing is you need to face the shame and the guilt and all of those feelings that you're experiencing around having this debt. Now, I'm not saying go and tell your business to everybody on the street, girl, I owe this money, girl, I owe this money, girl, I owe this money, because that is not what I did. And sometimes when we do that, all that happens is we're staying in the space of telling like it's almost like we get excited or we get off a little bit. Can you say that on YouTube? I just did. On telling this story, and we stay in a victim state. And that's not what you're doing. By acknowledging the guilt and any shame that you have surrounding owing the money, you are actually shedding light on it. And by shedding light on it, you get to clear it. So what I did to clear it, and this is something that I teach in my manifestation program, is I wrote a love letter to the money. I wrote a letter to the debt in this particular case. And I wrote it as if that £35,000 was somebody that I had wronged and I wanted to make amends for it. So I wrote that I was sorry that I had treated the money so badly. Because obviously to owe the money, it means that I was given this money in the first place to use, and I didn't honor the agreement and I didn't use it in the way that it should have been used, and it ended up becoming a debt. So I wrote a letter talking to this money like a friend who I had done wrong to, and I said I was sorry and I fully admitted that I didn't treat it well, and all of the things that you would normally write in a letter. Now, the reason why I did it that way is because I process really well with pen and paper. If you process well speaking, you could talk it out. You could do an audio in your phone. You could do a video of yourself talking to the money, like record it into your phone, whatever works for you. For me, writing the letter really worked. And that's what I teach my clients to do in my manifestation course. So once I owned that I owed this money, and then I faced my feelings of guilt and shame around the money, I asked the money to forgive me the same as I would ask a friend that I had mistreated, that I had had a falling out with. I asked the money to forgive me. And it wasn't that I was begging for forgiveness. I asked for forgiveness. So that is something that I want you to be really mindful of when you are working on manifesting being cleared of a particular debt or being debt free, is you are asking, but you're asking from a really empowered place. Because when you step into your power, that is when the next stage of the manifestation happens. So the next stage of the manifestation is to start speaking into what you want. So you can use affirmations for this. You can use journaling for this. I use scripting for it. I have a scripting video that I will link to. So if you don't know what scripting is, you can go and check out that video. And I explain scripting and I give you an example of how to do it. So I use scripting to declare the future that I was creating, which was that this debt was paid. Now, interestingly, I wasn't manifesting that it would be written off. I was manifesting that it would be cleared. So I didn't really expect it to be written off, I'll be honest and say, but I was happy to speak life to that amount being cleared. I wrote as if it was done. I remembered I messaged one of my best friends and I said, I'm going to send you some strange voice notes, being really excited that this debt has been cleared and it's now at zero. I just need you to go with it. And on some days I would speak into my phone, like if I was having a conversation with a friend, and be like, "Girl, can you believe I just paid the last payment on this £35,000? I cannot believe it. I am finally cleared of this debt." So I scripted and I spoke the word. That's something that is a really powerful combination when you're manifesting, is writing and speaking. And I actually teach how to do this when I do either my manifestation, but more specifically in my script, and speak it and write it for scripting success. But you write it as a script and then you speak it out. And those two work together, because what you're doing is you're consistently staying in the energy of this amount being paid and being cleared and being done. That's what the scripting does, and that's what the speaking it out loud does. If you do not have anybody that you can trust to speak this to, please just speak it into your phone and listen back to it. Sometimes on my drives, I would say it out loud. "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I have finally paid this money off." Say it with excitement. Say it with all of the emotion of it being done. And I did this consistently for about 3 or 4 months. I also contacted the company. Now, you might be thinking, "Oh, Julia, I don't want to do that." Well, that was part of me taking action towards clearing the amount. So I contacted the company and I said, "Hey, I know I messed up and I know this amount is due. How can we, what can I do to, get it clear, to make some payments or whatever?" And then in that conversation, that is when we realized that I didn't have to pay this money back. And that is how I manifested having it cleared. So the last step of taking an inspired action, fully owning that I might have to pay this money off till I was gray and being okay with that. But it was in that conversation, in that phone call, they asked for some additional information. I was able to provide the additional information. I did not file bankruptcy or anything like that. And they came back with the response of, "You no longer need to pay this money." But it started by me owning my part in creating the debt. So manifestation is really always coming from an empowered, energetic place. That was the key to manifesting this debt as being cleared. I came from an empowered place. I owned that I owed the money. When I added it up, I was like, okay, this is a lot. £35,000 is a lot of money. I owned it. Second, I faced the guilt and shame about it. I didn't beat myself up consistently. I just was like, this does not feel good. I really, really messed up. Then I wrote that letter, and the letter was to clear the energy of the guilt and the shame around it, because we cannot manifest from that energetic space. So when I wrote that letter, it was to clear the energy. Write your letter as if you're writing to a friend, asking and saying, you know what? I messed up. I wasn't a good friend. That's really what my letter to money said. I was like, I was not a good steward. I did not manage this decision well, and I'm sorry about that. And once I could clear that guilt and that shame, then I spoke life. So then you speak life into what you want to create. You can script, you can journal, you can use affirmations. I use scripting and speaking. So I wrote constantly about having this money paid off. I got 2 people who I trusted. One was my sister, one was my dear friend. And I said, I might send you some really excited voice notes. If you don't have somebody you can do that with, do the notes into your phone. But write it out, speak it out, claim what you are creating actively. And then I took action toward it. So I contacted the company and I said, I want to make a plan. What can we do? Help me here. And in that conversation, it was when they realized I didn't actually have to pay this money back. So I hope that this helps you to clear the debt that you have, to clear any debt that you have. God does not want us to be mired down in feelings of shame and guilt about money. We are supposed to live expansive, exciting, abundant lives. We're supposed to be in our dream life era. And debt is one of those things that I know, thankfully, I didn't carry a lot. It was just that one thing. It was that one thing that was really bugging me, and I was prepared to pay it off. Instead, I manifested it to be cleared. So I cannot wait to hear in the comments. Please like, subscribe. Tell me in the comments if this video was like the best video that you needed right now to help you on your journey to step into your debt-free dream life era. I will see you on the next video.